What is the most awful thing that happened to you in 2025? I lost both of my parents within 4 months. I slipped on concrete stairs while sprinting to catch a train. Ended up fracturing my face in 2 spots, both wrists, and damaging several teeth. 3 titanium plates, 3 surgeries, plus countless hours of physio and dental work later, I'm basically back to normal. This all happened right after I lost my job and spent a year struggling to find another. Seriously, use the handrail and value your job if you have one. I had to watch my 10-month-old daughter endure chemotherapy before she passed away from leukemia. Honestly, take your pick. My dog was diagnosed with cancer and had to be put down. Not long after, I found out I had stage 3 bone cancer myself. A week after surgery, where they removed 4 ribs, part of my spine, and the tumor attached to it, I developed fluid in my lungs and ended up back in the hospital. During that second stay, I was also diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Despite all of that, I'm still here, and I feel incredibly thankful for the doctors, nurses, surgeons, hospitals, and all the friends who helped keep me alive, supported, and sane through this year. Edit. Thank you all for the kind comments, awards, and support. If anyone wants to learn more about bone cancers, I'll add a link here. It's rare, so awareness really matters. I'm also happy to answer questions if you're curious, though I'm definitely not an expert. My wife, who is 40 and whom I've been married to for 10 years, caught a severe infection and died from it. From the first symptoms to her passing, it all happened in just 3 days. Watching my father pass away from cancer far too early. The final week of his life was unbearable, and all I could do was sit by his side wishing for a miracle that never came. I'm currently sitting next to my mom as she's dying from cancer. Fuck, it's tough. My wife of 18 years gave me an ultimatum: get help from my alcoholism or she was leaving. There was no discussion. I agreed and immediately entered treatment. A week later, while still in detox, I received a certified letter with a divorce decree. A few days after that, I had my first phone call with my sons. They told me their mom had invited my eldest son's boss over for dinner. Apparently, the day after I left for rehab, the boss had asked my son out, and my wife went along with it. Weeks later, my brother told me she had been cheating with this guy for months. My sons were understandably devastated. I wanted to rush home to support them, but I had to stay in the program and finish rehab without relapsing. It was the most emotionally chaotic period of my life, not just in 2025, but ever. Edit of gratitude. Thank you all for the kind words and encouragement. Hearing about others' sobriety journeys is inspiring and really helps. My brother passed away in a car accident 6 months ago. Another driver lost control in heavy rain on the highway. He was only 37 and left behind 4 kids aged 6 to 18. Our parents divorced when I was 4 and he was 7. He lived with our mom, I lived with our dad in another state, so we barely saw each other growing up and hardly ever spoke on the phone. I always thought there would be a someday, a time I could take off work to visit or maybe move closer. Now, that chance is gone. I feel like I missed his entire life. My dad died. Slowly, painfully, and terrified. Our cat was attacked by the neighbor's dogs and died a few days later at the vet. He fought so hard to get better, and even held on until we came to visit that day, like we had every day since he was admitted, just to say goodbye. My girlfriend moved all her things out while I was at work yesterday. She'd been texting me all day like everything was normal, and I was completely blindsided. We'd had some ups and downs recently, but I never saw this coming. She blocked me on everything and left only a note full of accusations I can't even respond to. I just wish we could have had one last conversation. If she still wanted to leave afterward, I would have understood. Now I'm left feeling sad, empty, and confused. I still love her so much. Each additional day I wake up. My boss got hooked on meth. My coworkers and I were paying booth rent every month, which actually covered the entire rent. The landlord told us we were 3 months behind. She had spent all our money on drugs and said it wasn't our business. We tried an intervention. It went terribly. She stole and smashed my phone with a hammer and damaged my coworker's truck headlight. It was chaos. On the bright side, I'm having a good year. I found a new job I love and finally feel stable. I hope she manages to get her life back on track. Started being an alcoholic for 7 months and spent tons of money, and now I'm 15 days sober. It's been one hell of a year. After years of trying, we finally had our IVF baby. That part is incredible. We're so grateful and in love. But 2025 really took a lot out of me. The pregnancy itself was terrifying. I had bleeding the entire time, including some really heavy episodes with clots. Every time it happened, I thought we were losing the baby. While I was still pregnant, my dad passed away. We weren't especially close, but it still hit harder than I expected. The hardest part was losing my grandma. I found her deceased in her home. I was very close to her and had spoken to her just the day before. That was back in July, and I'm still struggling to process it. 2025 can seriously be over already. The first half of the year was amazing. I got married, my sister moved back home from overseas, and we had an incredible honeymoon. There was some sadness, we lost our 16-year-old Chihuahua, but overall, life felt good. Then August hit. Between August 28th and November 28th, I lost 6 people close to me. 2 deaths were suicides, 3 were from natural causes, and 1 was a murder. One of the natural losses was my mom. She passed away on my new husband's birthday. It's been brutal, and I'm still deep in grief. Hug the people you love while you can. Nothing is guaranteed. After spending 5 months losing about 60 pounds through daily workouts and clean eating, I was preparing for gastric bypass surgery so I could keep up with my toddler and my second son who hadn't been born yet. I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad, and this was all part of the plan. But once the surgeons went in with cameras, the procedure suddenly turned into an exploratory biopsy. They immediately saw my liver was covered in countless lesions. I woke up in recovery and was told the surgery couldn't be done because they'd found cancer. Over the next 3 days, after a PET scan and a brutal colonoscopy prep, chugging a gallon of Miralax less than 24 hours after abdominal surgery is absolute hell. They traced it back to a tumor on my colon near the splenic flexure. The diagnosis was stage 4 colon cancer, treatable but not curable. They explained that removing the tumor wouldn't help unless it blocked my colon, because cutting it out would be like trying to clean up a glitter bomb after it already exploded. 10 days after hearing that, my son was born early at 33.5 weeks and spent almost a month in the NICU. I had to support my wife, a newborn, and my 2.5-year-old at home while recovering myself, unable to lift more than 10 pounds on my right side after getting a chemo port placed. I also developed intense lower back pain, which we assumed was just a muscle strain. A month later, routine imaging showed the cancer had spread to my spine. I'd unknowingly been walking around with a broken back, 2 fractures in my L3 vertebra. Since mid-July, I've been on chemotherapy every 2 weeks. It feels like playing whack-a-mole with poison inside my own body, all while still going full speed as a stay-at-home dad. I'm walking with a cane now, dealing with multiple spinal fractures and a broken rib thanks to bone metastases turning my skeleton into a cheap piñata. I've learned just how amazing my circle of friends is, but my life is completely unrecognizable compared to before the diagnosis. I've been given a 50% chance of surviving the next 5 years, so I'm doing everything I can to make every moment with my wife and sons matter. Anyway, not much else going on. How about you? So you're basically a superhero. Keep fucking being awesome. My second daughter passed away in January, just a month after I lost my first. Not long after that, my partner started cheating and got someone else pregnant. She left me to grieve both of my daughters completely alone, while she had the comfort of another person and the future we were supposed to build together. Then she told me the baby was mine, but said she had aborted it. That turned out to be a lie. The child wasn't mine, and she went through with the pregnancy. Now she has a family, and I'm by myself. I ended up being hospitalized for my mental health, and I'm still extremely fragile. I don't think I'll ever be able to trust another woman again. What scares me most is how quickly she disappeared from my life. I know losing a child affects people differently, especially mothers, but I can't comprehend abandoning someone in that kind of pain. We were inseparable, and then she was just gone forever. I was here to type, but then I saw the comments and told myself to be grateful.